pals, non-binary pals. Today we're going to be talking about a video that was sent into my Discord. So if you haven't joined the Discord yet, I highly recommend. It'll be linked down below. Over 13,000 people in there now. Also, I do want to say, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I know like 50% of y'all are not subscribed. So just hit that subscribe button for me, okay? I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a video that is by the creator by the name of Coco Chanu, I think. But the title of the video is Why the Body Positivity Movement is Toxic, with a lot of exclamation points, okay? She's very serious. She's not playing any games today, my friends. Alrighty, so let's see what she has to say about the toxic body positivity community.
Hi guys, it's Coco. Welcome back to my channel. You guys have not seen me on this channel for about a year now, almost a year, and since then a lot has changed. I actually do have a new nose. I had a nose job. There's a video on that on my vlog channel that you can go to.
We love a new nose, girl.
Blue hair now. But yeah, I have been MIA from this channel for about a year now because I honestly felt I've been making advice videos for so long. There was nothing new that I wanted to talk about and I felt really uninspired. And I personally really want to make content that I love to make and that I enjoy a lot. And so that is why I've been gone, because I just kind of didn't know what to do with this channel anymore.
I always think about that. People always ask me like, oh, are you ever, are you like, what are you worried about, like your channel? Like, but your boy loves to talk about anything and everything, you know? So I don't know if I'm ever gonna have that problem.
And I did not want to give you guys content that I did not like making. But there's something that I've recently discovered about myself that I absolutely adore and that we are going to be doing today, and that is having opinions. I used to be the most quiet girl you've ever met because I was just so deadly afraid of ever hurting anyone's feelings. But I've recently, as I've grown older, learned that you are allowed to have an opinion. Actually, it's important for you to have an opinion. It's important that we live in a world as well where it's okay to share opinions and to talk about things. And I feel like we live in a world these days where you're encouraged to stay silent and to just not express if you feel differently about something. And I just want to be different when it comes to that. I love having a debate. I love having a good discussion. So this channel, I don't know how many times it's going to be uploading. I think every time
So I can relate to this a little bit. I think like when I first started my channel, I was always kind of afraid of sharing what I think about things. Obviously, that's no longer the case anymore. But I think to add to what she said, and I think this is an important distinction, I think like you should not be afraid to share your opinions, but also you should be willing to change your opinions if someone brings up some information that makes you question maybe what you believe. I think a lot of people, when they think, oh, I'm sharing this opinion, it is now therefore fact and no one can change my mind. I think you should be willing to share your opinion, but also be willing to have that opinion changed if better information, you know, comes to you. My opinion, which I'm sharing because that's what I do. All right.
I feel strongly about something, I'm going to be uploading a video. So today we're going to be talking about the body positive community. If you read this title and you are ready to start screaming at me, I would encourage you to wait a little bit. I've talked about this on TikTok as well, and my experience is that people just start screaming at me as soon as I finish my first sentence, but they end up screaming at me about something that I haven't said, but they just kind of assumed that I would say, and they kind of missed the mark because of that. So please watch the video, watch what I have to say before you voice your opinion, because there's a big chance that whatever you are about to type right now was not actually how I felt at all or anything that I was actually going to say. But today I want to talk about...
Now, I 1000% deal with this, but it's my own fault and I'm fully willing to take ownership of this. But your boy, hey, my titles and thumbnails a lot of times, would people call them clickbait? Yes, I'm sure some people would. I like to say that they are, you know, extreme or they're sensationalized. But that gets people to click on the video. And I think that if it gets people to click on the video and you're still talking about the topic, but maybe you are subverting their expectations with the actual content that is inside of the video, I think that that's okay. But I definitely deal with comments of like people that say stuff and it's very clear they haven't actually read or watched the video. And, you know, I'm just like, it is what it is.
About why the body positivity movement is very toxic. let's get into it. So at its core, as a woman myself, the body positive community is something that really resonates with me and that I would love to be an ally of, and something that maybe could even be beneficial for me as someone who has struggled with her body her entire life. I personally think I have some sort of...
So I think like hearing this right here, right? A lot of people, the knee-jerk reaction is you want to almost play the comparison game, right? Like it's like, okay, this is a pretty white girl that, you know, has whatever, right? Is straight sized. And it's like, how can you possibly want to be body positive when you have all of these things going for you? When for me, I have this thing, I'm bigger than you here, I have this issue. Like that's the thing that so many people want to do, and I feel like that's so not productive in any way. Like to try and make yourself more of like a quote unquote like victim than someone, I don't think that that's very helpful.
Body dysmorphia. I just always feel like I look really terrible, and it's just always been a running theme in my life that me and my body have struggled a lot, and me accepting my body has been a difficult topic for me. I'm aware that I am not overweight, but just because I'm not overweight does not mean that you know that I have never struggled with body image. You do not have to be overweight to have a rocky relationship with your body.
That is so true right there. And I mean, like, obviously I have been overweight, but like I have obviously had friends that weren't overweight that also struggle with their body. And it's one of those things that's really frustrating. And so this is something that I used to do. Okay. And I'll take ownership of this. Something that I used to do is if there was someone around me that when I was, you know, close to 400 pounds, there was someone around me that would complain about being overweight. I would be like, oh my God, whatever. How can you even say that? I'm so much bigger than you, right? I wouldn't say it exactly like that. Maybe I would just think it, right? I'd be like, I'd love to be your size, but just because you might be feeling a certain way or you might have a certain issue, that doesn't mean that this person's genuine struggles that they're having are no longer valid because you in your mind think that your struggles are more than theirs. And that's something that happens a lot, especially online.
As a woman or as a guy, because when it comes to body positivity, like, yes, in the media for women, we only see a certain type of body, but how about men? How many men have you ever seen in a movie that were not ripped and that did not have a six-pack, you know? It's like, it's for everyone. I think literally everyone can have struggles with their body.
So with the men thing, I think I don't want to say I disagree, but I do kind of disagree. I do think that there are, and this has been shown, like there are more men's bodies, different types of bodies that are in popular media, right? They might not be the best representations, and like it's like the fat guy is always funny, right? That's the funny fat guy trope that I know a lot of dudes just like me, you see it so much growing up that when you become the fat guy, you almost automatically feel like you have to be funny. Because that's literally all you ever see in media is the funny fat guy. But I will say, at least for the most part, at least there's that little bit of representation for dudes. Because for women, like up until very recently, it's been no overweight women for the most part, compared to how many men there are.
So, however, I do understand that body positivity is meant for a certain group of people that have struggled with society's view of them because of their body and their weight, and so it's meant for plus size people. I get it. So I would like to just like leave it to you. It's sad to me. I would love to be able to be a part of a positive community about uplifting each other and being there for each other, but I understand why I'm not a part of it, because there are some things, some struggles that I have personally not experienced that I would need to have experienced in order to understand and to be able to be a part of it. But I'd love to say that I'm an ally of it, because in some ways as a girl I can relate to the struggles. I have spent hours and hours crying in Zara dressing rooms because not even the biggest size in the store fit me. Okay, but where does this story start? Where does my personal struggle with this community start? A couple of weeks ago I posted a video on TikTok where I was squeezing my fat, and it was a positive video. It was a self-love video, and it was just like, I love my fat, and this is my favorite part of being a curvy girl.
So she doesn't show the TikTok, but I actually have it. So we're gonna watch the TikTok. It's nothing super crazy, to be honest. We're not gonna listen to the audio because, again, like DMCA and stuff. But this is the TikTok that she posted. We're gonna look at the comments. They are all in not English, but a lot of like the comments are like, oh, curvy, and like just a lot of them are being like basically dismissive, right? Like, you're not actually, like, that's not curvy, right? That's one right here. On curve, this is already curve. I mean, a lot of these are broken English because it's translated. You're not curvy, but okay. It's like it's like these things where we're gonna let me compare myself. I don't know. So she goes into it though. She goes into it a little bit more. So let's continue watching the video.
Now, mind you, I have always thought that the term curvy just meant having curves. I have a very curvy body, and I just always assumed that that was what it meant. But
I wonder if any of this has to do with just differences in cultures too, because I know that she's from the Netherlands, I think, or just somewhere that's not America, obviously. And so I wonder if there's that difference as well. Maybe I'm wrong there though, because a lot of those comments were obviously not in English. So I don't know though. But that's something that you hear a lot of. It's like curvy has now become designated as, it almost like you can almost only call yourself curvy if you are really overweight. And so even if you're kind of overweight, or you genuinely do have curves and you like have bigger hips and bigger breasts, it's almost like you can't call yourself curvy anymore, because now curvy doesn't actually mean curvy. It means overweight. Which, again, it's like all semantics that I feel like it's just so convoluted at times.
But those curves that I have, they're made out of fat. So I'm so happy for the fat that I have. And it's a big step for me personally towards loving myself, that I've gotten to this point now, that I love the fact that I have this extra fat and the way that it gives me shape. For me, big step. So when I posted this video, mind you, I did not tag it body positivity. I did not talk about body positivity. All it was just literally me appreciating my fat for how it makes me look, how it makes me feel, and how I've learned to accept it. But if I say that this community, the body positive movement, was the one that came after me and showered me in hate, you guys, it was actually intense.
Yeah, this is something that definitely happens. I know that there have been other videos that talk about this, especially on TikTok. It seems to be the biggest issue, but it's like, I think there's been a video where it's like someone posted literally side by side. It's almost the same exact video. I think it might be the same exact sound on TikTok, where it's like one girl is skinnier doing this thing, and then another video is a woman that is bigger that's doing the thing, and like all the comments on the bigger woman's TikTok were all like really positive and really nice and really uplifting, but then all the comments, or a lot of the comments on the woman who was maybe more straight sized, were all very, very mean, like really, really mean. And so it's like, why is it okay to be mean to one group of people, but then it's not okay to be mean to another group? Like, obviously for me, don't be mean to anybody. I think it's pretty simple. But that's definitely something you see a lot of, especially on TikTok.
And that, I think, is toxic. I'm sorry, I think it's toxic. The fact that a community that is based on loving and accepting each other can take that core message as a means to attack women, because maybe they frustrate you. Maybe they make you feel like she doesn't know the struggle that I go through. The fact that it gives you any type of a feeling that you are allowed to make another woman feel bad about herself or shower her in hate, toxic, hypocritical. I think it's a terrible, terrible thing. So first of all, the thing that most people were super mad at me about is the fact that I would call myself curvy. First of all, I did not know that this term was used in a different way by this community, because I'm not part of this community. How am I supposed to know how every single word in the world, that's what I'm gonna say, makes everyone feel? That's an impossible task. If I'm not part of this community, there's no way for me to know that curvy means plus size now, and I was just not informed.
The thing is like, it it just means something different to different people. That's the thing that's like really frustrating. It can be very confusing, is that it might mean a certain thing to one group of people, but it means something completely different to another group of people. And so it's the thing for me is like when we talk about these was it adjective as descriptors? I don't know. I'm shouldn't have even tried that. But when we talk about these like descriptors, it's like when do you cross the line of when do you cross the line of being straight sized, and then when are you allowed to call yourself curvy? And then from curvy, when are you allowed to call yourself like fat, right? Because there's a lot of the movement now is trying to take back the word fat. So like people are like owning the word fat. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Second of all, a lot of people are like, curvy, you're not curvy because curvy starts from a size 40 pants. I actually have a size 42 pants. So if you're going to use that kind of rhetoric on me, I would qualify as curvy.
Yo, she's getting heated though.
But I understand because I never meant to call myself plus size. I just meant that I have curves, which I do. You can fight me on it, but I do. They're
she said, fight me? Oh, snap.
made out of fat and I love them. And I thought that I was curvy. But this gatekeeping of a word, how is that supposed to be productive? If you have a message that you're trying to spread, how is gatekeeping a word and telling people they suck for using it, even though you know from the video, from the whole context, that they meant no harm at all? How is that productive? Start focusing on going after people that actually do harm.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with this. Like, I think that it's, people might have good intentions by kind of trying to educate. And it's like one thing to maybe try and educate someone, but then it's another thing to be condescending and try and make them almost feel bad for, saying that they're curvy, right? Like there's two different ways to go about that. And I don't think trying to be super condescending to someone is really going to help that much.
That actually posts shit that's harmful to other people, that makes other people feel shitty about themselves. Not just some random girl on the internet appreciating her fat. That's wrong. It's stupid. I'm sorry, it's so stupid that people go after each other these days, in my opinion, when they know from context that this person meant no harm, but because they used to...
I'm sorry, she reminds me a lot of myself when I like in these videos. I like start off very chill and then I just ramp up and get more and more heated. So that's why I was like laughing earlier, because it just reminds me of myself.
Wrong word, a wrong term, whatever. They said something, I don't even know, like in a wrong tone in their opinion. If you can obviously tell this person meant no harm, just booger off. It's so unproductive. I don't understand. All it does is it makes people like me feel like your community is nitpicking people and attacking people for no reason, when this person, me personally, meant no harm at all.
And I think that a big thing that she's kind of brought up is she wasn't hashtagging body positivity. She wasn't calling herself body positive at all. Like, she wasn't saying any of that stuff. So she wasn't even trying to take the movement and use it as her own. Like, she didn't even mention it, right? So I think that that's really important, because it would be one thing if maybe she was like hashtagging body positivity and she's like, I'm trying to be a body positive content creator and now I'm body positive and yada, yada, yada. Because I understand that people get upset with that because, for reasons. But like, that didn't even happen here. She didn't even hashtag it or say that she was or mention it at all. And she's still getting this, these comments and stuff, which I do think is wrong.
All I wanted to do was appreciate my body. I didn't even talk about any other type of body. All I did was just say, I love my body. And if that upsets you in any way, I think that's ludicrous. I think that's absolutely ludicrous. And the fact that
So the reason, this is a hot take, so I might get canceled for this one. I think the reason that so many people get mad is a lot of people that claim body positivity a lot, that are really, really active, aren't body positive. I think that's what's going on here. And so like they get upset when someone is being positive about their body. That's my hot take. I might get canceled. I'm just saying.
didn't even call it body positive. I never said that. I never wanted to pretend like I wanted to speak on behalf of this movement at all, because I know you don't need me to, because I know that I'm not part of the people that are in this movement and that can speak on behalf of this movement.
So the reason that I say that is because, like, if you truly were body positive, why would you care? Like, the way, I know I always bring this up, but like, if we're talking about loose skin here, right? If I claim that I'm pretty happy with my body, right? I claim that I don't want surgery, all this stuff, right? Could you imagine if I said that, right? I say that all the time, but then y'all saw me commenting on other people's pictures where they have a little bit of loose skin, maybe less than me or something, right? And I commented, how dare you actually be positive about your body, or how dare you actually get surgery? You should be blah, blah, blah. It would be so obvious that it's like, well, John actually hates his loose skin. Like, it's very clear to me that John isn't actually happy with his body. I think it would be very obvious, right? That's all I'm saying.
But the fact that a movement based on love and acceptance goes after women and hates on them and makes them feel shitty about themselves for whatever reason, I think it should not be acceptable. If you're a body positive movement, you should basically in no case ever disrespect someone for their body. Even if that body is skinny or whatever, that makes you feel like they don't have struggles, because you don't know. You don't know what someone is going through. Even if they look like maybe they don't have struggles with their body, you don't know. They might as well also have a handicap. You don't know what's going on with someone, that they might feel like they would love to be a part of this movement of like love and light, and to be this negative and derogatory towards those women. Disgusting. Disgusting. I think no one should ever shame anyone else for anything, especially not if you're part of this positive movement about loving each other. Another experience that I personally had is, so I think it's totally okay that everyone will love themselves for who they are, what they look like, the shape that they're in. It's your choice, it's your life. I respect you. If you want to be, and I don't want to make this sound derogatory, but I'm just using words because they are descriptive and I'm trying to get a point across.
I'm laughing because it's the same. I do the same thing. Y'all know I'm just like that.
And not to be hurtful. That's something too. Sometimes words are just meant to describe something. Sometimes someone doesn't mean it in a bad way, but they are just trying to use a word to describe something that just exists and that is there. And they just mean it in a factual way. So just wanted to put that out there. If someone chooses that they would like to be overweight, I'm not one of the people that will tell you that you're not allowed to do that because it's unhealthy. Man, I don't really understand this argument, because to me personally, there's so much in this world that's not healthy. You know, people smoke, there's people who are skinny that are unhealthy. I mean, health shaming to me is just kind of stupid, because I'm like, we're all unhealthy. Have you ever been outside and like took a breath and smelled all the gases in the air from the cars? Like, no, life is not healthy anymore at all. I think just health shaming is stupid, but that's just my opinion, because I feel like it's like nitpicking on this one thing, like weight, even though there's so much around us that's unhealthy. Like literally everything we eat and drink is almost like unhealthy.
So I agree with this to a certain extent, and you guys have heard me kind of talk about this a few times. Is like, when it comes to like health at every size, I would say I agree with most of it, but it's like when we talk about the extremes is where I'm like, okay, well, like if you're to a point where your weight is so low that it's causing you issues, then that's a problem. And same thing, if your weight is very high and it's causing you issues, that is a problem, right? But I would say for the most part, I agree with what you were saying.
So like, if we are gonna start doing that, health shaming each other, like that's a whole nother realm of, there's been so much that we should shame each other for, and not just weight. I think it's just like an easy argument for people. But if someone chooses that they are comfortable being at the weight that they are and they want to stay that way, they do not feel like they want to lose weight, absolutely fine. By me, I absolutely respect you you do you. But if someone decides that they do want to lose weight, i.e. in my case, personally, a couple of months ago, I had gained a ton of weight and I was starting to feel the effects on my body. You could tell me that that's not true, but it is, because I felt it. I could feel that I was taking naps all day because I had no energy. I was really, really sluggish, and it was due to my eating habits and the fact that I was not taking care of myself and the fact that I was putting on a ton of weight. And at that point, I decided that for me, I wanted to lose weight out of self-love, because taking care of yourself is a form of self-love. And
woo! Hey, I've said that many, many times. I think that when it comes to losing weight, I think a lot of people that are like really, really into, I don't even want to just say body positivity, because I feel like that's not even just what it is, but like the health at every size kind of movement. It seems like everyone thinks that if you try and lose weight, it can't possibly come from a place of self-love. And I just fully disagree with that, because the things that I was doing to myself when I was at my heaviest were so far from self-love, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even funny. There's no comparison to the way that I was living my life when I was at my heaviest to the way that I live my life now. The respect that I have for my body, the respect that I have for, the things that I'm able to do, the respect and the effort that I put in to take care of this one body that I have, that I wasn't doing when I was younger. I just didn't care. I didn't care. And so for some people, gaining weight absolutely can be a form of self-love. Absolutely. But and that's something that a lot of body positive people will agree with, right? That's something that a lot of body positive people will agree with. You gain weight, it's totally fine. But on the same, other side of the coin, that can be the same exact thing for someone that's trying to lose weight. They can be doing that as a form of self-love. And it seems like we talk so much about how, weight loss is toxic, or weight loss it's bad. It's like this terrible thing that you're doing to your body. Your body doesn't want to lose weight. It's so bad for you. Not everyone is on that, is there. Like, a lot of people, if you start taking care of your body and doing, and like eating correctly and moving, you will lose weight. And there's nothing wrong with that, and you should never have to feel bad about that.
And sometimes taking care of yourself means not being overweight to some people. That's different for everyone, but for me, taking care of myself meant losing some weight. And so I did, and I felt so much better about myself. And then I shared this video about it, and I shared this video about the fact that I was so addicted to food, and that it took me a little while to wean off of my addiction for food in order to start to be able to eat normal portions again and everything. And I just shared my positive story about how I did it, how I overcame this problem that I had with food, and how I lost weight and I felt a ton better. And I thought that because this was not something that was motivated by looks or whatever, it was motivated by health and how I felt, that I would get positive feedback. But no, the feedback that I got was that I was being harmful, making people feel terrible about themselves, and that I was just basically an all-around disgusting human being. And to me, a community that's focused on love and acceptance should not shame someone if they choose that for them, at that point in their life, it would be a good idea to lose some weight. That is so hypocritical to me. Like, my brain cannot even compute the hypocrisy of preaching acceptance, but then hating on someone for whatever reason it is.
So of course I agree with that, but I think, to add context to this, I do think that there are genuinely, and I mean, this is stuff that we talk about here on the channel quite a bit, right? There are genuinely some garbage messages with in the fitness industry and in the weight loss industry that I do think need to be called out. But I know people get overzealous, and they think that any mention of losing weight or trying to take better care of your health is all of a sudden lumped together with that. And there are differences. There is nuance there that I think is important to be extrapolated and sifted through and find out what is helping, what's not helping, and find those things out. So many people it's weight loss, bad. weight gain, good. It's like, no, it is there's so much more to it than just that. And if you think it's that simple, I'm sorry, but I disagree.
So that was my personal opinion on the topic. I don't want to say that this is everyone. I know there's a lot of middle ground, but what I noticed was that when this happened and I was attacked for no reason on TikTok, nobody from this community stood up for me and said, hey guys, this is not cool. You're not supposed to hate on a girl that means no harm, that didn't even call it body positive, that is just literally randomly saying that she likes herself and that she likes her fat. Not cool. You guys don't attack her. No one stood up for me. I feel like in a community it's so important as well to be able to look inward and to see where it goes wrong and where people abuse this idea to hate on someone and to cause harm to another human being, and to stand up for that. But that did not happen, and to me that was so sad. That's the reason that I wanted to talk about this. I would love
I agree with that, and that's like one thing that I've done a lot of that in the past like year, kind of looking inward. And I think that, you know, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I was a lot more hostile to health at every size and body positivity. And I'm sure if you're like really, really in that community, you probably are like, you still are, which, you know, that's fine. But I think in my heart, I've been able to open myself up to those arguments a little bit more and trying to see the other side. And I think that's important for anyone to do. And I hope that more people from that community will do that, because I think that only leads to people kind of finding the middle ground a little bit more.
I have so many things that I would love to talk to you guys about, that I feel a certain way about. I would love to have an open discussion with you. I'd love to learn. And also, sometimes just because someone is okay with learning does not mean that I will necessarily always agree with what you have to say. Sometimes even if someone educates you, that does not mean that you have to agree with what they're saying just because they are trying to educate you. You can still disagree with them. You do not have to agree with someone just because they know more about the topic than you do, and they're just giving you information about it. You can still have a different opinion on a certain topic, you know? So anyway, I wanted to put that out there because that's something.
Okay, so I mean, that's pretty much everything. I think that this was, you know, this is a really interesting video, and I mean, these are things that I've talked a lot about in the past. I haven't mentioned it as much recently. I've been kind of more on a talking about the other side of like BS diet, or like diet culture and fitness industry BS and all that stuff. But I thought that this was a really good video that does point out some of the hypocrisy that you see, and I think it's important to point that out whenever you see it.